This video is not about drugs, or is it? Though it should be. You know, I'm the type of personality and the type of person that I am. I like to Google. I like to research. But I have a question that I'm not about a subject that I'm not fully clear on. So I'm making this video to ask an opinion about clairvoyants that are empaths or light workers, starseeds, however it goes. But my grandma was extremely an empath. Would bust out and cry for no reason sometimes, just because she was aware of the collective consciousness of something bad happening or sad, or aware of other people's pain. Me personally, I'm gonna describe some of my traits, but I want to say I'm either an empath or an extreme starseed, you know, from what I understand it. But I'm going to go along with my traits because I'm not fully sure what category to put myself in or what it really is. Hopefully you can help me with your thoughts and opinions. Okay, so first of all, I'm the type of person that, first off, I would like to say I'm no angel. Like, I'm not a person that does the right thing all the time, and I enjoy doing good, but I do some bad things also. Maybe it's because I'm human. But on a level of clairvoyance and you know, possibly being an empath or however this goes, I'm the type of person that almost, like, my favorite thing to do almost is help people. I'm in love with helping people, and even if I'm in bad shape, I'm still in love with helping others and taking others out of their pain, or assisting somebody and being there for a person. Though there's not a lot of people there for me, I'm okay with it. I'm just like that. I have spent a lot of money with just coming out of a store or something, and I had change in my pocket. And there's been years since I've not given people money when they have a cup out outside the store here in Chicago, Illinois. I love giving change to homeless people and people that need the change or the money, the currency to get what they need, or addiction or whatever. I love doing that. That's one thing. That's why I said maybe I'm empathetic. I'm not empathetic, but maybe it's an empath thing. Also, I'm very aware of people's vibration, their emotions, and their intentions without them even telling me anything. Sometimes I gotta get close enough. Sometimes I sense people's hidden stuff from afar. And so, basically, it's a bad idea to lie to me, because I can, without even thinking about it, I know you're lying. Not 100% all the time, but a lot of times people tell lies. I know it, and I can't tell you why. And a lot of times I've seen, in the end, that they were lying. Another thing about me is that stepping away from my bad side, I feel a collective pain in certain places. I'm in Chicago, Illinois right now. I'm actually in Dalton, Illinois right now. And a couple months ago, I stayed in Inglewood for about a week. You know, getting high and chilling with this girl on some real low-key shit, but it was smooth. And, you know, even in her house, I felt sad for the neighborhood she was in. Inglewood, Chicago, is full of violence, full of drugs, full of murder, very full of struggle without assistance. And I would feel it through her house. I would feel the sadness of the neighborhood at the collective. I would feel it, and I was like, that don't feel too good. But when me and her would go somewhere, even go on a walk or whatever, to a store or whatever, there's not too many places to go in this city to hang out a lot. But there are some places. when we would go certain places, I would feel a deep sadness as I looked and felt, as I walked up and down the neighborhood or the sidewalk. I felt like just dread and just painful. Like people wanted out of that neighborhood. People were tired of their drug addiction. I felt like people were tired of people dying. I felt a lot of things. And I chilled with the girl for a minute, but it eventually got ridiculous. It eventually got to the point to where it almost made me catatonic. Like I could feel the pain. It was so intense. I left that neighborhood alone. That's another trait with mine. I can describe something also about I'm very good at predicting things, but the thing is, when I predict stuff a lot of times, it's on accident. It really is on accident. I don't try to tune into psychic abilities and this and that. I am what I am, and I don't want to step too far into a ethereal or spiritual place, because I really am not a pro. We think we're pros at this stuff, but sometimes you just never know what you're going to encounter by playing with too much spiritual or magic or tarot, whatever. Another thing is I like nature. I'm in Chicago, and Chicago is a very real, very fun place if you put aside the suffering. But I was born in Mesa, Arizona. Okay, and I still carry some traits in me from that state. I love the nature. I love going on walks. Really couldn't explain it, but I love going on walks, especially if the area has a beautiful scenery or a scenic thing. I love nature. I love going on walks. Sometimes when it's cold, I just bundle up and go on a walk. A couple of months ago, I was staying in the eastern side of Illinois, and I was dealing with a number of issues. I was dealing with poverty. I was dealing with people I really cared about and people in my past, a girl I really used to love, dying. I was dealing with a lot, and I stayed on myself, and I overcame that sadness along with antidepressants. But I used to wait till about 3, 4 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning actually, and I would go outside and walk long distances. And like after about a mile and a half in that direction, there was a forest preserve. I really didn't like going in there at night, but this is where I would go in the daytime, sometimes early in the morning, look at deer and stuff and scenery and trees. I like trees. I love trees and water. But you know what these walks turned into when I started facing tragedy and things that really bothered me that I had no understanding or knowledge about? I call them God walks. Okay. These will be long walks where I be praying / talking to God the whole time. I go on God walks. So that was happening naturally. I noticed that's just something that I like to do. Back to the level of prediction, because I'm not sure exactly what category I'm in. I have predicted 2 people's deaths. 2 people's deaths, exactly. And I'm not being dark. I'm not being evil or demonized or demoniacal. I predicted it, and it's been on accident. And I just know I have some type of title or something. I don't want to toot my own horn, because that's a disgusting thing to do. I don't want to sit here and say I'm extreme starseed, or I'm the greatest empath of all time, or the greatest indigo child of all time, or anything like that. It's a disgusting thing to do. Another thing about me, I have a bad side. Let me get to the bad side. A lot of times on my bad side, and maybe empaths are supposed to have a bad side. I don't fully understand this if I'm even an empath, but sometimes when people cross me, I'm very vengeful. Extremely vengeful and extremely hot-tempered. And for the most part, I try not to let it get out of control, because I just let myself be mad. I might talk a little shit, but I try not to let my temper and my anger get out of control, because the wildest type vengeful things will happen to the person standing on the other side. I have a weird type of curiosity and love, an addiction to anger and revenge. That's a bad thing. I'm working on myself, but I'm like a super shoplifter, also super thief. I'm good at not being noticed. I'm good at ripping shit off and pulling off shit in stores. I'm a pill popper. Sometimes whenever the urge is there or whatever happens, I've slowed down. I'm 32 years old now, and I have slowed down with sleeping with every girl I meet or attempting to. I used to be like that. I used to be very addicted to women. Girl, give me a little bit of play, especially if I'm smarter than her. She give me a little bit of play. I'm gonna ease up on her. I'm gonna push up on her. And what happens with that is that I probably end up fornicating with her. I have a love for that. I have a love for gambling. So I have to put these type of traits in this video because somebody out there knows and can better understand this stuff. Also with God, I find myself in tragic places and sometimes tragic situations to where I pray and ask for help. And I don't want to toot my own horn. I got a little bit of a buzz right now. I'm just telling the truth. I want to explain God, other facts. So I'll make it quick because it's time for me to do other things. But I want to say that first of all, with the higher power as the world identifies with God, be careful with saying God. Be careful with thinking that God blesses you and he talks to you and does all type of miraculous things like that. Be very careful. I can tell you some things. First of all, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, the slanderer, the serpent, the king of lies. He's a spirit creature, okay? Along with the demons. So if they do the same thing that Satan does, well, there's multiple devils, tons of devils, okay? Be very careful when you're getting things and messages and you think are miracles. You got to understand, the devil, Satan, and the demons are pure energy. They do not get tired. They do not need to eat. They do not get sick. They do not get cold. And they're in abundance of energy and light. It's nothing for them, a pure energy. They can manifest to anything. They can manifest into a rubber ducky on your lap if they wanted to. Be very careful. People got to understand this about the devil also. When the Bible is being told and written, Satan was right there listening. It ain't nothing for him to make it look like God's blessing you. You got to understand he's deceiving on an intelligent level, superior level than you and us. You got to understand, sometimes the messages and the blessings you think are God are not even close. I know that. I'm just starting to come into this idea. I don't have it fully organized, but the Almighty, the King of all, is very besieging. That's why I be in silence sometimes so I can hear messages and hear things, but he's always in the background trying to suggest and help. And the sad part is, like, the world's in such a bad place and time has gone on to a degree to where he's almost besieging. He's in the background telling, but it's also begging you. God shouldn't have to beg for nobody or the Almighty to call on him. He's very much in the background. He doesn't really want to, when people speak of Armageddon and different things, he's not a vengeful God. He's just a being you do not want to cross the wrong way if he tells you to do something. But he is not. He's very peaceful, very subtle. I know there's been, times he's flooded the world and turned people into pillars of salt and all types of stuff, burning bushes. They made it talk and stuff. Why not? He's God. Why not? Wouldn't you, if you had the ability? It's just all types of stuff. I do have a buzz right now, so I'm going to end this. Hopefully, I explained enough to where I can be helped with this. But, my last little bit of advice, do good always. Be good always. If it's possible to do good, then do it. Do good all the time. Sometimes when you're by yourself at night, or even not by yourself, by yourself at night in nature or in the house, be grateful. Think of all the things that you have. Be grateful for them, and you won't want for much, much more. And my last little piece of advice: always say thank you. Say thank you for everything, from 3 pennies on your nightstand to a common cold. Say thank you. There's a high vibration in that phrase, word, however you want to label it. Thanks a lot.